Hello everyone, in this video we are going to create VMs in a virtual network. In the previous video we created this virtual network, and our architecture is something like this. We created one virtual network and then we created 3 subnets. Now within the subnet we are going to create one VM each, and then we're going to install IIS in both of the VMs. So what we need is, I'm going to go to all resources. So all resources, I have my virtual network, and so I am going to create 2 VMs now. So VMs we all know how to create, so click add. So both VMs will be IIS VMs. What we are going to do is we are going to use later on NSGs, network security groups as well, to apply the security. So here VM number 1 is which is part of the web server subnet, so I'm going to call this web server 1, and make sure that it's in the same region. So remember, our resource group, our virtual network is in Canada Central. So if you are creating this VM in another region, then you won't be able to access it. And here we're going to keep everything same, and I'm going to create this as server 2016, and it will be 1 vCPU and 3.5 GB of RAM. And for the password, remember, you need to remember the password for your VM. So what I do, I normally keep a password in a notepad and create the VM. So I'm gonna, because it does not take a very simple password as password 1 with P capital. So but if you lose this password, it's very difficult to recover the default admin password for a VM. So for that reason, just keep your username and password somewhere in your notepad. And here I'm gonna allow the port. Since it's a Windows VM, I'm gonna allow RDP at the same time, or we can enable other ports. So for now I'm gonna just go with I don't need anything specific with the disk. I'm gonna go with the defaults, but I do need some networking changes. So right here, so by default, since we have IT prod group, so it already selected IT prod virtual network for us. If there would have not been a virtual network, it would have been created for us, and it has selected a subnet, the first subnet that was available. So for this one, web server, and the rest is exactly the same, so we don't need anything special. And I'm going to create this subnet. I'm going to create this VM actually. So the VM is being created. So VM, now it is being created. So it is initialized. In the meantime, I'm going to create another VM. So request is submitted, and I will create the second VM. So again, we'll go to virtual machines. We can go to the VM and create a new VM, and here I can go here. This is app server. This is app server 1. Again, it will be in the central US region, and oops, what happened to this? I'm gonna reload this. So central US, and again I'm gonna select server 2016 with 1 vCPU. So as soon as you select server 2016, it will automatically select a machine for us, and for the password I'm gonna use this password, and for the ports I'm gonna need port RDP port open for this, and within disk we don't need anything specific. In networking, I'm gonna choose, so virtual network will be the same, subnet will be app server 1. Otherwise, other than this, everything is fine, and we're gonna create this second VM. I'm gonna pause the video here. Once the VMs are ready, then we're gonna log in and install IIS on the VMs. So I just want to make sure that if it is initialized and the request is submitted, so I have both VMs being created at the moment. So there are two VMs are being made. If I go to virtual machine, I can see my web VM is ready. Actually, it is being created, I guess, for now. Okay, so it's ready. I'm gonna log in. So log into the first VM, and this will be RDP connection. We will be connecting to the VM through using public IP address, and we will be using the same username and password that we created. So I am connected to the first VM, and in the meantime, while this is logging in, I will check if the other VM is ready. So the other VM is ready as well, and I am going to connect to the other VM. So connect, download the RDP file, and connect to the file. It will show us a few screens like these, and then it will ask for username and password. And it should let us connect. So it is connected. So this is my VM 1, and this is the other VM right here. So on this VM, I am going to first of all make sure that IE enhanced security is off. So IE enhanced security is off on this. And secondly, what I need to do is I need to go into dashboard and install IIS Server. So the reason is that I'm going to use it as a web server. So, and all you need to do, select web server, install, and this other server also same thing. We're gonna go to local server and switch off IE enhanced security. Dashboard, install IIS. Then we're gonna make sure that IIS is accessible using both private IP address and public IP address for both servers. So for this, added IIS, next, and install. So the other server, it is being installed on the first server, which is web server, and it is also being installed on the second server. This is app server 1. So I'm gonna pause the video once this is all installed, and then I'm gonna continue. Okay, so on both machines IIS is installed, and just to test out IIS, so this is on server 1. I'm gonna close the installation screen. On server 2, I am going to close the installation screen, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna quickly test out IIS. So for this, let's try localhost. So I'm gonna say localhost, enter. So IIS is working on this, and let's try localhost on this. So this basically shows IIS is working on both of them. And so recommended and localhost. So IIS is working on both of them. Now we're going to check that if the IIS is working inside the network. So for that, first of all, I'm going to need a private IP address. So private IP address of this, I'm going to go to IPv4. Actually, I have to check. Actually, we can check it through the website. So we can go right here on server 1 overview, and it shows here the public IP address, and it should be here in the networking right here. So 10.0.1.4 is app server. So I'm going to check this out right from web server. So I'm going to go to web server. So this is my web server. I'm going to open another one and check 10.0.1.4, and that is the app server. So app server is accessible. Let's check the other server. So, and go to home, and we can go to the web server and overview, go to networking, and right from networking we can check. So 0.0.4, so that is, and from the app server we can check. So why are we checking this? Because we wanted to check that if private ports are not blocked on both servers. So here 10.0.0.0.4, so privately it's working. Now the final test that we need to check through their public IP address. So this is web server. So web server we can check right from here, and that will be so it should error out as we have not opened any ports. So let's wait for this, and in the meantime, because we never opened the port 80 on the server, so we will open a port on this, so for the web server, and it did error out. So let's go to networking, and within networking it shows us inbound port and outbound ports. In the next video I'm going to show you how to test out ports, but here let's add just one rule to this inbound rules for web server. I'm going to add the inbound rule, and here I'm going to say that this is source is service tag, which is internet. So for internet publicly it should be available. Destination port is 80, so I'm going to change this to 80 because this is for port 80, and add the rule, and the traffic will be allow. As soon as the rule is ready, so rule is created, and we can see the rule right here, and the rule priority is 310. So right here it is created, and we can basically refresh this. So it's right here. So this port, the rule is saying that from internet traffic it's fine, and I'm gonna refresh this. And by the way, this is an IP address for the web server. Let's confirm I am on a web server, and the IP address, yes, so it is open. So this is how we can test out. So for now the web server can be accessed from internet, IIS can be accessed from internet, and on a private network, and we can test that out for the app server. And app server we have not opened any port 80 for the public IP address, but we can quickly double check. So I'm gonna go here and open the port. Not open the port, just test out the IIS. So we haven't opened any public port for IIS for app server, so it won't work. So thank you for watching this video. In the next video I'm gonna show you how to work with network security groups.